Today, we celebrate all the new games that came out in 2023. This is where we champion our favorite games, our favorite experiences of this past year, and what a year it's been for us gamers and consumers. Although it's great for us, it's been a pretty bad time for developers and the industry as a whole. Over the past few years, we've seen thousands of developers losing their jobs. Large companies like Microsoft, Epic, Bracer Group, of course, and most recently Bungie, with the mass layoffs, which also coincided with a delay of Destiny 2's next expansion, The Final Shape. Smaller companies were also affected, with 11 studios closing down. Volition was one of them, though not a small studio. Seeing a developer of a prestigious game like Saints Row, sad day for everyone in the industry. Of course, there's a lot more layoffs and news about them, so you should go search it up and just hope that they can land on their feet. So for the developers, these Game of the Year lists also showcases their amazing work that they've done throughout the year. And for the people that were affected by these layoffs, we can't wait to see what you guys have cooking up next. We'll be waiting for sure with excitement and full enthusiasm. So keep up the good work, and yeah, we hope to see more of your great work. Video games wouldn't exist without them, so let's give them all the props they need and deserve. Now, let's get into the video game. One Game Man studio that I don't think gets enough love, and I'm part of that problem because it wasn't my radar until recently, is Chants of Sennaar, and that is my number 10 game of this year. I've been light on indie games this year, but I'm glad this game came to my attention when I made this list. Chants of Sennaar is a beautiful, colorful puzzle game in which you learn languages of culture and you piece together the history and the narrative that's going along and how they come together to solve this big problem within the world. It's a smart puzzle game which allowed me to look at the environment to find context clues with the NPCs, the towers, the buildings, anything like that, to find the narrative and the history of these cultures. I don't play a lot of puzzle games, but this game excelled at making me feel smart as hell, which for sure I'm not.
Find him. You've done this before. You can do it again. Let the flames burn within you. No. Let them burn without. Come to me, Ifrit!
As a JRPG fan and a fan of Final Fantasy XIV and the development team, I had to add Final Fantasy XVI at number 9 to my list. It was a little surprise because of how low it is. I was expecting it to be in like the top 3 or something, but it came up against a stacked year with so many experiences that just drove home with me a little more. But everything I was expecting from the game really blew me out of the water. The visual design, the voice acting, the characters, it all has similarities to Final Fantasy XIV, and it's hard to not compare them because of the same development team. Final Fantasy XVI went with a more high fantasy style theme this time around. It used to be cyberpunk, a little more modern. I kind of love the high fantasy theme, and that's what I came to 14 for. Of course, Soken killed it with the music he produced for the insane boss fights we see in Final Fantasy XVI. It's not a surprise as someone who played 14, but now that 16's on the map and a lot more people have eyes on it, people will see more of Soken's work and see how he is actually the greatest music producer of our time right now. Characters, the combat, the music, they all hit home with me. But it didn't feel like a JRPG where you min-max a character to do one specific thing. Maybe you have someone that does most physical damage, or you have someone that heals, things like that. That wasn't really present in the game. They opted for a more Western style RPG mechanic where everything's available to you and you can spec into everything, but nothing you can be an expert at. Which is why Final Fantasy 16 is number 9 on my list.
I need this job. If the principal comes back and sees I'm gone, I'm gonna get fired. I know, but you gotta see this. Marco, why today? I'm so getting fired.
Insomniac nailed the first entry of Spider-Man in 2018 and improved on that in 2020 with Miles Morales. So coming into Spider-Man 2, I expected something much bigger, something better than before. And for the most part, yeah, they hit that note. They have better swinging, better traversal mechanics, they have switchable main characters, cinematic cutscenes. They have all the right notes for a first-party Sony game. I do wish for the story and the campaign to be a little longer, and I know a lot of the complaints with Spider-Man 2018 was how long it dragged on. But I feel like having two Spider-Mans, two main characters now, having to switch them back and forth would be better for a 30-35 hour campaign. Other than the length of every minute of it. It plays it safe, and it shouldn't be knocked on playing it safe. Playing it safe for a developer can make a game dull, and Insomniac does a great job at balancing what they do well and what they can improve on and add on to the overall game. Really, all we need is a good swinging Spider-Man game, and that's all we need.
Welcome, applicant, to Project Armstrong.
Hi-Fi Rush was the first game that I completed this year, and it came hot off of a shadow drop from Xbox and Bethesda's first Direct. Nothing felt inspired, and I was just waiting for this new and fresh experience for a video. Then Hi-Fi Rush came out, and that was just such a breath of fresh air. The third-person action elements with the rhythm game mechanics create a great balance that I don't think a lot of studios could manage or even replicate in any way. Music really needs to be the bright spot in a game like this, and not only does it succeed at that, it excels. You'll be met with musical numbers from NPCs, maybe enemies. It kind of has this whimsical musical theater feel, which I am so in for, and it's a breath of fresh air, like I said. The production in this game is so high, you can just tell from seeing music, the voiceover, the animations, the characters. They all kind of blend in to make a beautiful masterpiece of an indie game. And if you don't play this game, you'd be doing yourself a disservice, because this is one of the best experiences I've played this year. And I'm not a rhythm game guy, so that's one of the reasons it is on my list this year.
Bon voyage, Professor.
I love these Hitman games. It got me into the stealth genre in the first place. Its soft and silly approach to stealth mechanics really make it easy for a new player trying to get into the genre. I remember blowing up a golf ball as the NPC is about to tee it up and blow up right in their face. It was one of the best moments in video games for me, and Hitman Freelancer adds more to that excitement and hilarity. Hitman Freelance allows me to play Hitman in a different way that I wouldn't think otherwise. Part of it is problem solving with the knowledge you have with the base games, with all the maps, the tools that you have, and the NPCs that are around. Of course, there's a roguelike mode, so the choices before going into the run are very crucial, like how well you know a map, or what weapons or tools that you're allowed to bring or available to you. There are a lot of wrinkles in Freelancer mode that allows you to think a little more, approach the game a little differently, which is why I love this game mode so much. Freelancer adds so much that works for the type of run-based game Hitman is already. The tools you have for the players to play in the sandbox kind of makes it a roguelike that I didn't think that we needed.
Welcome to Hotel Krat.
Geppetto's puppet. We need your help.
Thanks to Xbox Game Pass, Lies of P made it to my list at number 5. I usually don't play Souls games back to back just for mental health reasons, but having Xbox Game Pass really made that a little more enticing. First off, let me say this is the best Souls games not made by From. Round 8 Studios has something here and can expand for many titles. The combat is difficult and it's close to a Souls game without feeling like it's completely mirrored. The parry system feels amazing and has a system in which enemies can break their weapons when you parry enough of their attacks. This adds more reward, more substance to parrying when you don't really have to in Souls game. But in Lies of P, it is beneficial for you to learn parry and use that as much as you can. The story is pretty dark, especially for a Pinocchio kind of retelling. The game does go into some crazy places, especially at the end when you see the reveal of a certain NPC or a certain character. It's exciting to see where Round 8 Studios can come up with the next game. And I know they have Lies of P 2 and a DLC coming too. Lies of P was a sleeper hit for me because a lot of things had to align for me to play it. With Xbox Game Pass, I didn't have to purchase it, and the recommendations of so many people in the industry that I respect recommending it to me and saying how insanely competent a Souls game, not competent, like well done, well crafted Souls games it is. Tears of the Kingdom is an amazing achievement in video games, and will go down in history as one of the best video games created. And 100% I do agree with that. But for some reason I couldn't get myself invested to play a lot more than I did with Breath of the Wild. So I don't have a full in-depth opinion of Tears of the Kingdom, but I understand that this game is special. Tears of the Kingdom came out when 3 or 4 other games came out that I wanted to play. And naturally, I put down Tears of the Kingdom to play a new experience, new games. And it just fell by the wayside. So I would say the small amount of playtime I did play with Tears of the Kingdom, it was magic, like magic. The way we're able to play with objects and how we manipulate the physics in the world was magic, like actual magic. And then this time having the full scale of the sky with the floating islands, it kind of creates this mystery that only Nintendo can make with a Zelda game. And the only game that I've experienced that whimsical mystery is in Breath of the Wild. And that's why this game is so high on my list. Because of the 15 hours I did play, it was something special. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is an amazingly crafted game and will go down in history as one of the best. I just need time to play more of it. And then... oh, this is new.
What the hell?
What the? This is awesome. What?
With mama's pretty stories and your own made up fury. And mama gave me a magic clicker. Well, yes, I think it's true and fair to say.
What? Remedy creates art. They fuse visual storytelling in a video game with gameplay mechanics and film narrative with live action monologues, which Remedy makes it feel ominous, and I've never seen any developer do what Remedy does. The survival horror element of the game isn't my strong suit. Managing items, making sure I have enough resources for the next encounter, it's not really my forte. But trucking through those moments was worth it, as the scenes after the next was absurd and compelling enough that I didn't mind lowering the difficulty to just get through the story and experiencing the beats. Anything that Remedy does from now on is going to be a day one buy for me. With Control and now Alan Wake 2, Remedy does something in the industry that not a lot of other development team does, combining the story elements of a video game and a live action movie. Which is why Alan Wake 2 is my number 3 game of 2020. Bro, look. Larian Studios finally got the recognition they deserve. After crafting 2 of the best CRPGs in the last 9 years with both the Divinity Original Sin games, it's good to see them win Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Baldur's Gate 3 was really built on Larian's knowledge on the first 2 Original Sin games. The amount of player agency and player choice is immense and ridiculous. The companions are interesting, they have their own backstory that you can engage in, so there's a lot there, and you can even miss a companion like I did with Gale. Oh, and also the fuck bear.
What word, my love?
Baldur's Gate 3 really redefined what an RPG is in 2023. And I hope some of the developers are watching Larian and how they managed crafting this incredible game.
Raven, you need rest. But first, a warning. The coral surge you were swept up in? That was just a glimpse.
Armored Core is my number 1 game this year. It's been in the tops ever since I played it in August, and it's never really been dropped anywhere. It's been a long time since I felt so cool controlling a game. The mechs are insanely creative, they're insanely cool, and that's really all you can ask for a mech game. My idiot brain thought it would be a little different, because it is different from a Souls game. It's a lot more fast-paced. It's not an open world, it's mission oriented. So I felt like there's a difference. It will be easier. To my surprise, it was not easy at all. It is completely From Software game, through and through. Part of that difficulty is finding the build that you want to play. You can customize the build from removing and upgrading individual parts of the mech. Your arms, your legs, your body, heads, anything like that. But a great addition to that building process is when you're stuck on a hard boss or a hard mission, they allow you pretty quickly and easily to adapt and change your builds for that specific fight. Nothing has been really compared to Armored Core 6 for me, and in a year with so many amazing titles from big and small developers, it's really saying something when From Software can consistently make an amazing action game title after title.
How many of your dogs must I kill before you learn?
And there you have it. That's my top 10 games of 2023. It was kind of hard to find the time to play all these games and fit the budget I had for these games. But a lot of those choices made possible because of Xbox Game Pass and PS Essentials and all those services that allow me to play some of the new releases that I wouldn't buy on my own. So yeah, video games are kind of crazy with the amount that we can play right now, and I'm just happy we're able to. And again, these games wouldn't happen if we didn't have developers working on them, and to see so many mass layoffs in the past year is kind of disheartening, and just hope that everyone lands on their feet and find jobs to create the things that they love, because video games is impossible to make, and it's even harder to find a spot in the development team to make it happen. And I hope sometimes in the future that the industry can learn from this and prevent these insane layoffs. It's been a year in the history books for video games, for good and bad reasons. So let's keep the games and everyone rolling in 2024. See you then. See you guys.
Are you done?
Yes.